Hello, my name is Elena-Ancuta Zavoianu, and I'm a PhD student at the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences at the University of Bucharest, Romania. Today, I will present you my paper entitled Teachers' Perception of Cyberbullying in the Context of COVID-19, for which I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation. During this presentation, I will define the concept of cyberbullying. I will talk about the importance of teachers in preventing this phenomenon. I will present the research methodology, the results of this research, and of course, some conclusions. Technology is a part of everyone's life, and it has made life easier in terms of communication and in many areas of activity, but has made it quite dangerous for the mental health of people who do not have basic digital literacy. The rapid development of technology has led to the so-called cyberbullying phenomenon. This is a technological risk. Cyberbullying is a type of online harassment using technology, which involves the intentional provocation of the victim suffering by sending malicious messages, sharing photos that lead to the denigration of the victim, and even creating fake profiles. Cyberbullying is considered to be an extension of bullying. The two phenomena have similar characteristics such as intentionality, frequency, and unequal power relations. What distinguishes them is the place where this phenomenon takes place, respectively at schools and at home. Cyberbullying is an extremely dangerous phenomenon because, unlike the victim of bullying, the victim of this contemporary phenomenon can be assaulted anytime, anywhere, and by anyone who has an internet connection. One factor that leads to an increase in the number of cases of cyberbullying is the possibility of the aggressor to remain anonymous. Malamud argued that aggressors are not able to identify the seriousness of the acts they commit until they are obvious and observed by those around them. Thus, the reduced possibility of being identified and the immediate or no impunity of the committed action encourages the aggressor to continue this behavior. Regarding the causes of triggering this behavior among the aggressors, they can be multiple. And Trudy Ludwig supported the idea that all children can be aggressors. Among the best known are the need for attention, the desire to have power, social difficulties in establishing relationships, family problems, and even the desire to improve one's social status. The effects of this phenomenon influence the personality of the victim until adulthood in the case of specialized non-intervention. The best known effects are eating disorders, anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, irritability, absenteeism, somatization, and in some more serious cases, suicide. To combat this phenomenon, a lot of programs and projects have been developed related to digital literacy, prevention and intervention, such as TABI, TAY, Media Heroes, Asigurate. However, the number of victims is constantly rising. This may also be influenced by the fact that most schools have now moved online due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the time young people spend on the internet has increased. So controlling and limiting the time spent in the front of the computer has become a difficult thing to do nowadays for most parents. Given that classes have moved into the online environment, teachers have an important role in preventing and eliminating this phenomenon. They spend a significant amount of time with students, are role models for them, and can teach them how to feel safe on the internet by introducing a series of prevention and intervention strategies during online classes. Methodology and research. In order to identify how the teacher manages this phenomenon during the online classes, we conducted interviews with 10 teachers from primary and secondary school from urban area. The objectives of the interview were identifying the level of training of teachers in conducting online classes and managing this phenomenon, identifying changes in students' behavior in online environment, and identifying similarities and differences between how teachers manage bullying and cyberbullying. Education experience and online classes. The teachers were chosen at random from 10 schools in urban area, 5 teachers in primary school and 5 teachers in secondary school with teaching experience between 5 and 30 years. All the teachers stated that they like this profession despite the fact that they face daily challenges. Analyzing these answers, we can identify the fact that a larger part of the interviewed teachers do not know how to keep the students motivated throughout an hour of class. Also, other answers were about how the online class should be conducted, if the class should be limited to explanation, only writing, or both. What is certain is that some teachers have reported that online classes are shorter than physical ones and prevent them from organizing their lessons in which they will teach as they wish. And when they share the screen with students, they fail to monitor them. Teachers' perception on the phenomenon of cyberbullying during the pandemic. Cyberbullying is a negative social phenomenon that does not take into account age, gender, status, or race. According to research conducted by Save the Children Romania, 1 in 2 children are victims of the phenomenon. All the teachers interviewed knew the definition of cyberbullying and came up with examples from students and even teachers that were victims of this phenomenon. As can be seen, online classes have led to the creation of a new type of cyberbullying, one that has threatened the safety of students and teachers during classes. According to teachers, these actions may also explain the refusal of some students to turn on the game recorder during class. Management of this phenomenon. Ask if the teachers discuss this phenomenon with students. 8 out of 10 of them said that they debated this phenomenon only when they face it in class. Most teachers use different ways to manage the cases presented above, such as the discussion of the consequences of these phenomenons, identification and prevention methods, meeting with parents, and inviting a police officer to talk about cybersecurity. Summarizing the answers of the subjects, most of the teachers talked to the victims, the aggressors, and their parents, and in the worst cases, they took measures regarding the grade. School teachers did not have examples of cases in the classroom. The number of subject interview is small enough to conclude that cases of cyberbullying are lower in primary education. The relationship between cyberbullying and bullying. Bullying is an extension of cyberbullying that is differentiated only by the place of manifestation. Thus, for the first, we talk of a physical environment, and for the second phenomenon of a virtual one. The causes and effects are largely similar for victims and perpetrators. The interviewed teachers are reported that the most exposed gender to become a victim of cyberbullying is female, and the victims of the physical aggression have also become victims of the online environment. Most teachers said that the new networks through which victims are assaulted are the messenger from Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and the creation of memes with the victims, and even embarrassing content on the TikTok platforms. students' behavior in the online environment. Regarding the behavior of students during online classes, both primary and secondary school teachers said that they face a decrease in students' motivation for learning, difficulties of concentration, and even excessive shyness. The students who were eager to assert themselves suddenly became demotivated, do not turn on their cameras, and devote technical or connection problems. Primary and secondary school students have developed a virtual identity. Teachers notice changes in students' personality. They can be determined either by the desire to attract attention, the fear of being recorded, or by the presence of their parents. According to teachers, the online school conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic has encouraged an increase in the number of victims of cyberbullying. Also, on this occasion, teachers became more aware of this phenomenon and discovered that physical aggression at school has moved to the online environment, taking a much more aggressive form, which has devastating effects for the victim. Online classes have led students to develop a virtual personality that will help them stay safe and eliminate the risk of becoming characters in memes or on TikTok platforms. The aggressor's ability to remain anonymous has led many students to disrupt teachers' classes, send them offensive messages, emails, or transform colleagues into victims. The introduction of school policies regarding the registration of courses and the identification of secure platforms for conducting online courses have given more security to students and teachers. As for the methods of intervention and prevention imposed by teachers, they are quite limited and ineffective for the current context. Discussion with students and parents and even lowering the aggressors' grade are considered ineffective measures by teachers. They support the development of digital literacy workshops for both parents and students to ensure continuing education in this file. In conclusion, cyberbullying is a consequence of the use of technology. It is quite difficult to eliminate, and the cheapest way to treat it is to prevent it. This must be done by both parents and teachers. Discussion about this phenomenon, the presentation of examples of famous cases, learning ways to cope, and holding workshops on social emotional development of students play a key role in reducing cases of cyberbullying. Thank you very much for your attention.